Man, it's kind of hot in here. I wonder what the temperature is. Wait, what? Well, that's stupid. Well, either way, let's just turn on the fan. Oh, what the f? Mom! Greetings Internet, it's Dustin again with my HomeKit Home, back again with another one for you. In this video, it's the second installment in our series on some of the changes that we saw with Apple's Home app in iOS 13. In our first video, which we'll link right up there, we saw some of the more overarching features or changes that came to Apple's Home app in iOS 13. In this video, we'll be looking at some of the more, let's say, dramatic changes that came to the Rooms tab in Apple's Home app. So we've got a lot to talk about. Let's get into the video. So first things first, let's go into our settings, and we can see that if we go down to our wallpapers, just like we saw in the Home tab, we do have our 6 new wallpapers, which are pretty nifty looking, I would say, if that's what you're into. We can see that we don't really have any new icons for our scenes, which is kind of a bummer, but we can also see some slight changes there in terms of our justification being now more towards the left. One change that did come that I do actually enjoy is the combining of both our dimming and brightening features as well as our color selection. So this applies to any lights or lamps that have either color features or they have the daylight features. And that's pretty nifty, I think. I like having both of those things there on one single splash screen. Now to update your color preferences, your color presets there at the bottom, you'll just tap Edit, select the color that you like, and then back out of the splash screen, and it should save there for that one. As far as I can tell so far, the color presets are for the individual bulbs, which is also a new feature as well. We'll keep testing that, and I'll get back to you if anything changes, if I notice any sort of differences there. But as for now, it does seem like we have that addition as well. Now going into our Apple TV, of course at the time of this recording our Apple TV had not been updated yet, but we do have access to our little remote there, which is kind of nice from the app. In the future, once we get more abilities to do things with our Apple TV, that might become a function that we find useful. Unfortunately, in iOS 13.0, we did not receive any expansion in terms of device types that we can assign for smart outlets, but maybe in the future. One thing that did happen, and we can see here, is that now accessories are combined. So here's our diffuser, and one of the things that we can see is that we can adjust not only the diffuser humidity kind of stream, but we can also adjust the lamp that is included on the diffuser as well. So that may or may not be something that you would want. As we can see here, we have our Eve room that is also now combined. We saw that at the top of the video. I just find it irritating, to be honest. Our fan here with our Connect Sense outlet, again, just pretty irritating in terms of how it functions within Apple's Home app. Now, if this is something that you too find annoying, I would encourage you to let Apple know about it. You can do so via their website, and I'll leave a link down in the description box below where you can give them feedback on different HomeKit features that maybe you would like to see or that you would like to have changed. You know, the funny thing is I don't actually have a problem with the combining of the different sensors into one accessory, but what I really want is to be able to see the sensor readings from that accessory, right? So for the Eve room with the temperature, humidity, and air quality, I don't see why that can't be displayed on the tile itself. So let's look at some of the other things that I can show you here. So nothing in my studio that's too unique. Looking at our dining room, okay, so we do have our HomePod in the dining room here. And unfortunately with iOS 13.0, we didn't get our Audio OS update. This should be coming sometime in the fall. It was thought that it was going to come out on September 30th, 2019. Well, that obviously didn't happen, so we can expect it sometime before the end of the year, maybe, perhaps. But other than some updated iconography, there's not really a whole lot else going on here, except for one more thing. So one of the most irritating things that I have found so far with iOS 13 in general, and this has to do with the way that I personally use it, is Control Center. So Home Control and Control Center, as you can see, you can't. The scheme that they're using, the color scheme, it's red on gray. You can't see anything, right? It's gray on gray, red on gray, black on gray. Unless the tiles are actually active, you can't see it, which kind of defeats the purpose for using these quick actions for your accessories and scenes. Definitely something that Apple needs to rethink. So if there's one thing that I can say about some of the changes that we saw in the Rooms tab, it seems that Apple's trying to declutter the app, which I can support. I actually talked about it in our iOS 13 wish list video, which you can check out in the iCard up above. But really what I was looking to do was have the ability to combine services. If you're not familiar with services, these are the individual things that we can base our automations off of in the HomeKit framework. For example, temperature, right? So you may have a temperature sensor that is part of a larger accessory. For example, the Eve Room, which I have back there. It has a temperature sensor and also a humidity sensor, which are exposed to HomeKit. What I'm looking to do is maybe combine all of the temperature sensors that I may have in one room because we have different accessories. We didn't get that. What we got instead was, well, you just have the Eve Room, as we saw in today's video, which is kind of a ridiculous idea. Now, I wouldn't be so mad at it if we still had the ability to look at that tile and see our temperature, see our humidity, see the air quality. That would be a great thing, and I don't think that's too much to ask for. Having the little, the numbers there, I don't think that's something that can't happen. But for some reason, it didn't. And this has got a lot of people pretty upset about it. Another thing that we saw, and I really find this one annoying, is when we have accessories that have more than one outlet. For example, if we have a power strip, it's now just one outlet. We can't separate those out. So if I want to turn on my fan like we saw at the top of the video, I actually have to go in 2 times in order to turn on the fan if I'm not using Siri. Really, really annoying. In iOS 13.0, we do see some shifts in the styling of our icons, and it is widely believed, and we now know because I'm actually recording this a little bit late, but in iOS 13.1 we actually get an extended set of icons, and we'll talk about that in that video, which is coming up shortly. And I guess my final, complaint or comment is Control Center. So I've talked about this in the past, that my main way of interacting with my home on the fly, if it's not with automations, is in Control Center or with widgets. And Apple has completely ruined the aesthetic of home control in Control Center. And you can't see anything. It's just kind of useless. Now, I can still use it because of muscle memory. I'm used to where the different icons are. I know where my lock is. I know where my fan is. I know where the lights are. But come on. So have you had any specific headaches with iOS 13.0? Let us know in the comments down below. Also below the video in the description box, you'll find links to our social media at MyHomeKitHome, as well as the blog over at myhomekithome.com. As always, if you found the video useful, please give us a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and the bell notification so you don't miss out on any new videos as soon as they're released. In the last video in this series on iOS 13.0, we'll be looking at the Automations tab and looking at how some things have changed there, so stay tuned for that video. But until that one, that about wraps it up for this video. I do thank you for watching, and until I see you in the next one, this has been Dustin with My HomeKit Home.